With a kiss I tasted a mixture of us, and the liquor on her breath didn't tempt me in the slightest. I was done with that for good, and knew it right well, so I stepped into the hall, firmness underfoot, and yet fell down I went, sliding my back against the wall, unable to walk on legs of gel at all. I held my face in my hands and wondered why I had so quickly pushed this great woman aside. There was nothing wrong with her that I could see. She was kind and pleasant and seemed to like me, but I always sabotage myself, and this is so true. Even in self-reflection, one lie dealt with, another made new. I didn't even know her name. Why was I so self-centered? I could have been more sensitive to her needs, you know? I might have asked her what she felt, and what she thought about, but I just cared only for myself without a doubt. And, when she seemed so understanding of all the shit I said, I might have taken her up on that offer to lie in bed. But, I was never much of a cuddler, and I am not affectionate in most regards, although some might say I have been in part one have very set ways, and don't really explain much of myself to anyone a drain, so I stay very private and let no one inside they come looking for me, so I close the curtains and hide. Walking out of town, I came to the strange, twisted routes of heart. A face floated to me, smiled then frowned. I asked, "What do you want?" But its only reply was, "I want to see why you hide." Its face was skillful in its chiseled display, a curve there and an interest there, laughter with dismay. "I don't know why," I replied, and the face hovered close then whispered, "Have you seen the Son of Guides?" Confused by the question, I paused, considered, then shook my head, and the face said, "I am the one inside you that's dormant, not dead. You have sent for me, you summoned me. So now we will do the work, to build you a key." Then its screen flickered on and I saw through my childhood eyes there was my father beating me while drunk. And then there was my mother forcing me to her religion, and there was I, now trapped in a mirror, always a mirror. I only had impressions of who I really was. I never really knew the damage for the cause. Then, there I was asking to have some birthday cake, to go to a friend's party and be normal, and there was my mother telling me birthdays were of the devil. Then, there I was being abandoned in a parking lot, then abandoned again when sick with chicken pox, but when had I first begun to hide? The face looked at me and said, "I heard you're wondering, and let me tell you this, looking backwards leads to a trap called infinite regress. Where did you first learn to hide? Shall we ask only your mom and pop? Or go further to their parents as well? Was it your parents' parents that were raised with such bad behavior? Or was it their parents, my dear? Might it go back much further? 1,000 years ago, did it begin in your family tree then? Or does it go back billions of years ago to when you began? Is it just your nature, in your DNA? Or maybe it has nothing to do with the things parents do or say, so, why show me these images from my life? I wanted to know. If they don't give me the origins of my woes? Because, you are meant to see that you do have cause for feeling as you have felt and acting in the manner you have. But, most important, so crucial to your growth, you need to also see that your past doesn't matter much at all. We can tear apart your past and look into every single crevice, but as we have seen, it's just an infinite regress. It will not yield answers to you that help you to finally, because every answer struck answers with a gong of irony. The only way to change is to look deep inside your heart, and do it right now, as should have been taught to you from the start. Your entire life has been made up of present moments. The past never existed, and the future does not either. The past is simply a collection of nows, and the future is an empty ideation by those seeking somehow. The only opportunity you have ever had for change is right here, right now, in this place so very strange. Pondered, did I, this amazing bit of advice, for it tendered to me notes of always think twice, and I knew that this bit of oddness from the face was my truth. So, I began immediately to forget about my youth. It was time, nay, it is time, I thought, for me to begin to just do, to uncover untruths like some great novel sleuth. And these untruths had to be found in the present, right? So, I began watching my actions there and then. To get myself right I would stay on top of my heart, to be ever mindful I would watch that brain of mine, making it my Bible. I then turned to the face, and asked, "I am sorry, but I didn't get your name." The face said, "Changes, my name and my game." I smiled and said, "I like that name a whole bunch, consider me no longer an unusable clunch." Let's go for a walk, and enjoy this heart. Time to stop hiding like some venereal wart. The face smiled and we continued along a no-way/way, and the face said, the coke snow has stopped falling for every today. Now that was a funny thing, because surrounded there I was, by mounds of coke snow that had once been useful for my show buzz, or maybe it was really just here to cement my cause, for I was so high and for want of going higher, here lay my buzz. But, I wanted nothing of it, you see. Have you ever been resolute while surrounded by what others cannot resist? I ignored the coke snow, happy to simply just walk with changes, and although I felt hunger, I believed somewhere in plentiful ranges, maybe groves of oranges or fields of wheat on planet Heart, there might even be a fountain of ice cream. But then changes said, you're doing it again. And I realized I was thinking of the future. It is harder for me to stay in the moment than for the moment to stay in me. Or was it, I wondered, getting lost in another pointless debate of seen versus see? So I refocused again and said thank you to changes, for the face that sees the brain and the heart it rearranges. We walked on until we came upon a sight which made me sick, a poverty-stricken child, of a skin that shone chameleonic. Where are your parents? I asked quite pointlessly, for here was a child that first needed food, not questions. He responded, where are yours, miss? And I said, I guess the same place as yours, my friend. Then I waved my hand and magically brought food from air, and gave it to this poor shaking child who at me stared. He said, thank you, miss, and your friend looks like a robot. I said, yes, he does, and I believe he is. Changes is his name and changes are what he gives. The boy shook his head in amusement, and finished his bread, so I handed him some tea and more from vast fields in the sky, all caught from farmers in the air, called hope for dead. Then he delighted in the food and ate so happily, and asked me how I got food from the air so easily. I told him that adults have a magic called futility, but he informed me that his magic left when his parents abandoned him. I said I understood, and remembered those streets I had once seen, not too long ago. He wanted to know if I had found someone to take their place. And I said, well mate, you have to learn to make your own way. Now feeling better, he got up and walked to me, pointed at my face like he was looking at eternity. Most cyborgs do not speak, like you have spoken to me, he replied, curiously, and I wondered what he meant, so I looked at Changes with intent. Changes said, there is a pond over there, and some sense of great time passed. In front of my eyes time sloped and sculpted the hills about. I saw time was an artist just like me, without a doubt.